everyone. I'm Paul Muller, the host of the AI Forecast, a weekly podcast sponsored by Cloudera, where we explore the past, present, and specifically today, the future of enterprise AI, along with leading companies and industry experts. Well, over the last couple of years, AI has evolved from a niche technology to a driving force behind business strategy, innovation, and efficiency in almost every industry. And if you thought 2024 was big, well, I think 2025 is set to be another year of accelerating change in the space. As we record this episode, the tech world is still reeling from the implications of the announcements of DeepSeek's breakthrough claims. But it's fair to say DeepSeek isn't the exception, it's more the rule. It's a reminder of the pace of advancement as AI has evolved from a niche research project to a disruptive force across business strategy, innovation, and efficiency in just about every industry. The scope of its impact is hard to predict, but we're going to give a prediction a go, which is always tricky. So to do that, we've invited a range of expert guests for their take on where AI is headed in 2025. Let's start with Jonas Christensen. Now, Jonas is a published author on the topic of AI adoption in the enterprise, and he's also the founder of Leaders of Analytics. He's also, I should say, the head of innovation at Skills GPT. He hits on what to expect as the Gen AI hype cycle starts to wane.
I talk about here generative AI because I think it's the first time where it's really consumable by someone who's not an expert in that space. If we take ChatGPT as an example, they've done two things. They've built a fantastic model that sits underneath, right? That's fantastic. But they've built this user interface that's really easy to use. So we've got lots of fantastic data science tools out there that can build awesome models, but you need to be clever and very educated to use it. So the barrier to entry is so low. And therefore, often we look for, in businesses, these huge applications of AI. You got to have enough volume of activity so that there is a payback on that investment, the large investment in setting it up that you often need. It's got to be big enough that it makes sense. Generative AI is a one-to-one ratio, right? I give it to you, and you can become more productive as an individual. Mm-hmm. It's the unit economics of that is very different. So that's why I think it's so powerful for organizations to leverage to get something out of. But as an organization, think about how you make it strategic, not just do what everyone else is doing. So the point of what I was saying before with these two examples is one organization is going to get the same as everyone else. They're not going to get ahead of their competition. They're going to be the same. It's kind of like saying we're in 1995 and Windows 95 comes out. I don't know, you can probably remember that, but some listeners might be too young. That was a revolution, right? All of a sudden you can click on things in a different way and we had this little Windows menu come up the bottom and so on. Don't get me started on the paperclip that flew around, but it's another podcast episode. But everyone had it. So it's not a competitive advantage to have that. If you're just giving Copilot to your staff, you'll get a productivity uplift, but everyone has it. So it's not a competitive advantage. Think about how you do this well so that you actually create a break from those who aren't doing it. This is your opportunity to do that.
Next up, we've got Jordan Morrow, formerly the SVP of Data and AI Transformation at Agile One. Jordan's been referred to as the grandfather of data literacy, and Jordan touches on what he believes will be a coming AI protest as AI and work continue to merge, and why he believes data literacy will play an important part here.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm very interested to see, I think people are wondering about training models. There's only one internet. There's only so much data there. That's fine. AI is going to create new data, and the AI models are going to replicate and do more and more. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if we achieve full AGI in 2025, but I think you could see substantial movement towards it. I think jobs, you could see some big impact on jobs. Not necessarily that I'm thinking 30% of jobs are eliminated. No. But maybe companies start. I think I've already started to see it. Companies are not hiring. Might not be firing, but they're not hiring. They're just figuring out ways to put things in place. So I think the job market, I guess if I was to predict, the job market, I don't know if it becomes fully unsettled, blah, 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 but I wonder if there's going to be this integration of companies are figuring out how to better align this. Now, this is not my prediction. This comes from, is it the CEO of Huggy Face, who said you'll have your first AI protest in 2025. I don't know if I'd be shocked if that happened.
What's an AI protest?
Well, so what happened with the Writers Guild or whatever it was in the US last year?
Mm-hmm.
So could you have protests and strikes or whatever because companies are looking to implement AI versus have people in roles? Possibly. Could you have content creation with Sora if you've started to play with Sora out of just launching not long ago? I mean, there's disruption is going to be there, but disruption brings opportunity. I guess finally for me, let's go to literacy. What I would hope to see is you're going to continue to see companies putting this as a big thing, and I think putting better use cases around it.
Speaking of hype, let's cut through the jargon and the headlines and get real. Simon Asplen-Taylor, CEO and founder of DataTick, provides insight for where business might implement AI in 2025.
The starting point is organizations will start to move to being data-driven. And what that means, that's the maturity bit. Organizations have realized in putting AI in that they need data. And I think more than anything else, that is the turning point from data having to sell, and you touched on that earlier, Paul, people in data having to sell the concept of data, what it can do. It is now being pulled. As soon as people start using AI, they're saying, we need that data, and then it's exposing the problems and everything else. So I think AI is driving data in a way it wasn't driven before, and I think that's great news. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's an opportunity that everyone needs to grasp, and I think therefore, faster decisions, better decisions, understanding that, no holds barred, you can get on and do anything, but actually, investing properly in it is the right thing to do, and treating it as being an asset for the organization. I think that's where we're going to, which is a level of maturation which we haven't had before.
And lastly, Olivia Gambelin, AI ethicist and founder of Ethical Intelligence. She takes us on a journey in the ways that AI will transform how we engage with information. Here's Olivia.
For me, when it comes to predictions, I like to talk about the areas of innovation that I'm watching for. And for me, it's 3 different areas that I am really excited to see where the space of AI develops in. First is in the process. So how we reinventing basically how we go about our workflow and our processes. The fascinating thing about generative and even agentic AI is it creates opportunities for us to rethink how we think, how we engage with information, how we as knowledge workers, even especially knowledge workers, go throughout our day of information recall, working with the information and so on. So I'm looking for innovation in the actual processes. We keep talking about how AI is going to reinvent how we work. Well, we need to reinvent how we work then for that to happen. So I'm looking there. I feel like with especially the conversations around agentic AI, we're going to see some massive innovation strides in the process. The second place I'm looking at is in the use case. We've got a lot of AI solutions and a lot of unanswered questions on what to do with them. So I'm watching for the companies that make strides in innovative use cases. Don't make another tool for me. Actually look at needs and how to address those direct needs of users. I'm excited to see where some of these use cases go. Creative, not make me another chatbot, but rethink what I can do with this. And the last one I like to say is in the information, meaning, and I have no idea where this one's going to go. This is a recent innovation hotspot that I'm watching is in the information, meaning with how we're approaching, and again, I'm just going to keep talking about generative and agentic AI because that's where the major strides in development are happening right now. It unlocks information in a new way, meaning it takes information from these static data points, and we can actually turn that into a dynamic, almost like organism itself. So we can take these bodies of information and then interact with that information like we would with another person through plain language. It's opening up new horizons for the amount of information that we can interact in and critically think through. And there's different ways. I'll give you an example to make this a little bit more concrete. So there is, you have the Isle of Man right off the coast of Scotland. It's a little nation state. And they keep talking about bringing nature to the table, meaning creating a generative AI chatbot. And I know I just, chat on chatbots for a second there, but creating a chatbot that has been built off of all of the data they have on nature. On the Isle of Man, by the way, is a biosphere. It's the only nation state that's a biosphere in the world. And so they have mass amounts of data on the actual interactions of the environment on the Isle of Man. Creating a chatbot off of that information, the chat function being the interface, but they can actually thinking about engaging with that information like it was another entity, like nature has a seat at the table by engaging with that information, asking direct questions, getting the information back. Again, I am now rambling, and I know that this one is a bit on the quirky side, and I'm still figuring out how to bring it fully into solid concepts and words, but it really is, how can we make information something dynamic that we engage with, that we can access in a way that we have never been able to before? That's what I'm really excited about.
So there you have it. What do you think of our guest predictions? Do you have predictions of your own even? If you do, drop us a thought, an idea into the chat. Why not hit up Cloudera on LinkedIn? You can use the handle at Cloudera with your ideas for what 2025 has in store for AI. We'd love to hear from you. And if you like what you've heard, make sure to hit a like, share and subscribe so you don't miss a drop. The team here at the AI Forecast are working on some amazing guests for their hot takes on real-world case studies and best practices, along with more on the future, of course, of AI in the enterprise. Thank you again to Cloudera for hosting another episode of the AI Forecast, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.